Ik ben Ootjes de Ronde. I am director of Phoenix Consultancy. This is Mira. She comes to give Satsang in Amsterdam in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta. Hello Mira.
Hello.
Is this the first time that you give Satsang in Amsterdam?
No, it's not the first time. I started in January, and once a month I came to give Satsang.
But now there are more people who like to hear you, and you go now in the Plato school in Amsterdam. Can you tell what Satsang is? Because what I understand now is more and more people are interested in it, and last time there were more teachers from Advaita Vedanta, and more people come because it seems that it gives a great treasure free for the people. Can you tell what Satsang is?
Satsang comes from, it's a word coming from Sanskrit, and it means the company of one's own self. So to make it more simple to understand, we can say that it's an opportunity in space and time to look to one's own self, means to be, just to be.
So it's not your personality, but deeper than your personality. To go deeper than me als...
Yes, it's at the first place. You are, and then the personality starts. So that is the teaching.
You call it a teaching?
It's a wrong word. It's not a teaching, because if you teach, then you have to learn many things, and then there are methods, and here is just to drop all the methods, because you are already what you search. And the satsang is the opportunity to drop everything here and now.
Did you realize that?
Of course, there is nothing to realize, because you are already what you are.
It sounds not so easy for me to understand.
Because it is not by understanding that we get it. That is the very surprising point of satsang, you know. What you are, you have not to understand it. If you understand anything, you understand an object. You understand a new concept, a new idea. Here, because you drop all ideas and concepts, then you may realize your true nature, your true being.
Is it possible for a human being to drop all kind of concept and ideas?
We are born like this. It is more difficult to learn.
When did you realize this? When?
I would like not to answer this question, because then I will put it as an event in time and space. Yet, of course, I will put it in time and space, and it happened, this non-event happened at the departure, at the death of my master.
Who was your master?
Punjaji, called Papaji, from Lucknow in India. He was a disciple of Ramana Maharishi.
And when was that in time spoken?
Last September 97.
But you knew him already longer, eh?
I met him in 68, beginning of December, and then I make a long journey with him about the quest of one's own self, because it was my search. And then at some point I just kept on my own way, and somehow when he died, it was like a meeting with my master. And to my great surprise, I thought my quest was finished, and it was true since a few years. But then the searcher dropped, and that I didn't see before. Because when there is a search, there is a searcher.
Yeah.
And I thought the search is dropped, and that was quite enough.
Can you tell me something about the search? You met him in '68. How did it happen?
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
Can you tell? You like to tell me about it? Yeah.
Yes. Well, I came to India for the search of reality, of myself. What struck me was the sentence, very known sentence of Socrates, gnoti seoton, know yourself. And then somehow it spoke to me directly, and I knew, oh, that is my search. So I went to India to search a living Buddha, since I searched a living Socrates on the way I didn't find. And so I was there in India listening to many yogis for 3 months already near the Ganges in the north, at Rishikesh mostly. And at some point I was quite disappointed and quite confused, because every master gives his own way and everyone thinks and says truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to leave everything and to live in a cave, a bit more in the north, to see by myself and meditate.
You lived in a cave?
Yes, I lived in a cave. And but it was looking quite natural, you know, when you have an ascetic life and near the nature. And then...
How did you get your food?
Yeah, I was going, I had money, some money, but it finished after 3 months, like my visa, it finished too. So I had to decide to go back or not to West, but my quest was not fulfilled, so I could not think to come back. So I decided to stay and to spend my last rupee, my last money on a last cup of tea. And it was evening, I remember that well, in the last tea shop of the village before going to my cave. I had a book of Kabir in hand, and I was alone on a table and pondering a bit about life. And then suddenly somebody came and asked me, do you need any help, my dear child? And I said, oh no, thank you very much, because I decided not to listen to anybody anymore, you know. Then he said to me, well, in any case, if you need help, every morning at 5, I am at the bank of the Ganga, and he shows me where. And I said, thank you, and I left. So I went to the cave, and the next day I did my day as before, washing clothes in the Ganga, meditating, quiet life. But the next night, the same face came to me and telling, well, it's maybe me that you search. So next morning at 5, I was there, and when he saw me coming, this man was sitting cross-legged at the bank of the Ganga, and he laughed. Wah, 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 wah. He was very happy. So I sat in front of him, you know, and then he said, what do you want?
Good question.
Excellent question. I was quite naive to tell a big thing in a small mouth. I told him, cosmic consciousness.
Wow. Nothing less.
And if you know more, I want that more. Yeah. So, what do you do for that? So I say, I meditate. Show me. And I close my eyes. I don't know much time. When I open it, I look to the Ganga, to the sky, where a few birds were flying, remember? And to him. Immediately I recognize my master that I searched for very long. I recognized him from a time I could not imagine, and I just bowed down and I said, oh, it's so simple. Somehow I got a glimpse. And then he said, no, you go. I said, no. I cannot. I was in such a, I could not leave my master that I found, that I searched. He said, you go and when you need me, I will come. So I had to leave. But I read a lot about Zen stories and so on. So I felt, well, it's a bit like this and I had to leave. So I went to the forest in complete ecstasy. There was a perfume, something, I was out of my ordinary mind. And I stayed like this. And somehow next day I searched him and I didn't find this man anymore. I didn't know his name, nothing. He was not recognizable by any sign. So I decided to meet him again, and that I had to meet him, even if I had, up to my death, I had to wait for him. So I decided to live on that same spot where we met. I left the cave and lived there. So I
On the bench of the Ganges.
on the bench of the Ganges, there was a little tree who gave me shade. And don't ask me how I lived, because I just meditate, and later on I heard people from the village give me food and so on, but I was not much aware. And 8 months later, meditating in the evening as usual, I looked behind and he was coming. And then we stayed together.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful story.
You meant you stay together or you visit him?
He came for a month. He came every 4 o'clock with food and answering questions to me. And then at some point he woke me up very early one morning to make a big walk with him. And we went to Pulchati, a beautiful place at a few hours from there by foot. And it was the first time I could be all day with him. And for me it was great. And from then he had to leave because he was a nomad somehow. And he said to me, now I go, and I asked him to accompany him. He said, no, I never travel with someone, especially a Western woman. Then I again asked him, and he said, okay, when I tell you to go, you go. And then I traveled with him, and from that time I stayed with him many years.
Did you ever introduce him to Europe or to the West?
Somehow when we were on the ways of our walk, we were meeting seekers, Westerner seekers, and at some point one German seeker invited him for West in 71. And so it's not me who introduced him, because he was invited, and then I of course followed him in all his trips at that time.
What did you do in the West? Traveling?
Traveling to give satsang, to go to houses where seekers were asking to come, and to go to some Christian monasteries, and it was very, very interesting and beautiful, especially in Italy, because Master somehow was giving a new spirit and a new understanding, much more inner, from a few sentences of Jesus. And the monks were very happy, It was very beautiful. And I got reconciled with Christianity. Otherwise, I didn't find any answer there.
So you went, for example, to Assisi or to where Teresa van Avila was living, yeah?
Yes, to Assisi especially. It was a very big meeting. And also in Spain to a few monasteries. Yeah, it was wonderful, and we loved it,
But they understood it?
Yes, there was a opening at that time, and and to see that Jesus was such a great enlightened man was beautiful, of course.
You know that the Pope is now writing an encyclic, and will come out in autumn to tell all Christians not to listen anymore to this Eastern messages.
Why especially?
because he says they tell us that God is inside our hearts, and that's not possible for a human being. That's arrogance.
Maybe it's very arrogant to say that, you know, because let him search outside. I don't think he found him still. Let him search, you know. And about God, I don't see arrogance in it, because we don't say we are God or I am God. We say search who you are, and then you get answers, and then you may not speak more about God because you know something else. God may come after being. Who knows? Let him search first who he is.
That sounds great, actually. Yeah.
And you know, it is for everyone. We don't need Pope or any man, any human being. It is his birthright to know who he is. The only trouble is that education is not good enough. It gives false concepts. So Satsang is a place where at least some indication, very simple, very direct, very natural, is given. That's all.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are coming now to Satsang of Isaac Shapiro and Nilam in Amsterdam, and Alexander Smith and all these people. And a lot of people ask questions about, you need to be prepared for it. You need first to do a lot of meditation, or perhaps you go in trips, or you go in therapy. And as far as I see in the flyer here, the question is simply, who am I? So is there any need for preparation to come to your satsangs?
I don't believe in preparation, because preparation leads you to somewhere very far in your life. You need many years, and after all you are never ready. Psychologically you are never ready for something. This question, who am I, is not a psychological question, you know, it's a natural question. And it is like an arrow. You have just to follow the direction of this. And it doesn't care of any psychology, any preparation. It's natural, it's your natural nature, you know. You first are, and then all the things are created. It's just to get a glimpse of your being. That's all. Once you have a glimpse, you can never be confused. You can play many roles, as a child, as a mother, as a big man, as a pope, as a layman. But you are not confused. They are roles. But first get a glimpse of your being, and then see who is God, who is man, who is animal, all that.
But as far as I understand, you went to India, you was very young, you were searching there, you lived an ascetic life, and now you come here in Amsterdam and you say there is no need for preparation. I'm a bit surprised.
Because nobody told me at that time. I had to search a lot. Of course, we can say that fire has to be built, you know. If you have to ask this question as if it was the first and the last question you put to yourself. You need fire somehow, you know. And you need determination to finish off this search now. The importance is now. If you say, tomorrow I will get it, you will never get it, because tomorrow never comes. When you realize it's always now, here. That I say, you don't need preparation. You may need a lot of years to get determined for this, of course. But don't say that realization takes time. It will always be now.
Just now.
Yes.
Here.
just now and here. There is no other way. So there is no way.
It sounds strange for a Western mind who is used to searching, at least, to go for a traveling, to go for a goal. We are very goal-oriented.
But this is not Western or Eastern. Mind is the same nearly everywhere. This is the way of the mind. Mind is in time. So mind cannot conceive something out of the time. So it creates years and struggling and goal. What I say is be before any start of the mind.
What do we mean? Be before any start of the mind?
I don't know what I mean. I just describe what I see. It's a glimpse of the being. Being is just the substratum of any creation, any start. A mind is something which starts and which is finishing. So I don't speak of a lapse of time. I don't say to have a glimpse of something which starts and finishes. I speak something which never started and never ends. This is being, but you cannot understand it. It is, you realize what it is, that's all.
I guess now I understand why the Pope is so scared.
Let him be scared. It's very good for his search. At least he will search for truth maybe one day. He gets prepared.
Because you are going for really the absolute.
Then what? Then what? I don't want to again gain something and win something which will be lost. What for then? It's not, then I can get many experiences in life. No, I wanted something else.
What is happening with suffering in your state?
Suffering is there. There are waves. But I don't get confused with myself and the waves.
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. Being is like ocean, if you like a very traditional image. The depth of the ocean, and you cannot avoid waves, of course. We see, we have a body, we are men, women, whatever, and circumstances are happy, circumstances are unhappy. These are waves for me, and this you cannot avoid. They may pinch you like a mosquito bite or whatever. That you cannot avoid. But one doesn't get confused. Oh, I am unhappy. No. My mind is unhappy, or my feelings or circumstances made this, and it makes all the difference. You cannot be lost then.
So you can have physical pain and at the same time connected with the being.
Of course, all goes together. Nothing is excluded. Nothing. Sufferings, happiness, this is the creation. This is the manifestation. And everything is included in being.
I'm a bit surprised.
Maybe because you thought it will be paradise on earth, in the sense that everything is just happiness. I find a deeper happiness to see that everything is included. It's life. And
so you can fall in love, you can have pain, you can feel attraction, you can feel resistance. The whole, you can feel power, you can feel ambition. It goes on.
It goes on. Only one thing is, whatever comes up, you have somehow the wisdom not to entertain it, not to feed it. If you are very happy, beautiful, but don't get too much stick to it. If you are very unhappy, you suffer, it's natural, but don't feed it. Don't make it worse. It's a wave. It comes, it lasts sometimes, it goes. That's all.
But how is it possible? Because when I feel, let me say, toothache, then I suddenly feel, oh, and now I am in the middle of a speech, and then I cannot do this. So the mind immediately jumps on the pain, and then this, in a few seconds, is a big thing, actually. Yeah? How can you stop that?
I don't say to stop, that's what I say, you suffer or you are happy. But never confuse, never get identified with this, in the sense, be, and then live, and then play with it, or whatever word, you know. Live, human being is living, whatever lives, lives means waves,
Yeah.
you know. So you cannot avoid this, at least it's not my experience.
So you are identified with being.
Totally, and it is not even identification because it's your own nature. You are that.
Is that what in the flyer states, you are that?
You are that, probably.
Probably. Well, that's a beautiful message.
Yeah.
And people near you, you can help to reach that state?
You know we can never help. But if you live what you think is worthwhile, it may some influence, it may, in that way, something may happen, but that I don't know myself. You have to ask them.
Thank you, Mira. Wow, beautiful! My name is Otis de Ronde. I am director of Phoenix Consultancy, and this is Mira. She gives satsangs at the moment in Amsterdam in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta. Hi, Mira. As far as I understand, satsang is being in truth with yourself, and I'm surprised about the fact that so many people suddenly come to the different satsangs that are happening in Amsterdam.
Yes.
Because is it not so that you can find the truth yourself? Why is it needed to go to somebody who is called realized? Or can't you go on your own and searching yourself?
Of course, it's a wish. But you see, the society tells you so many other things about yourself that one gets confused. Then he has to search, and as we go for a teacher for any kind of subject, we go for this subject too to some guide who may know, who has known himself what's about.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, it's like this. Few cases don't need guides, of course. But here, in this case, you may need a finger which points out to the moon, which is your own self. So don't look to the guide, but look to where it points out. That's very important.
Did you go for a guide in your life?
Yes, myself, somehow I didn't even think I could do it by myself. I searched a living Buddha, a living master who could guide me, because I read a lot of stories about spiritual search in Zen and Taoism, and I saw everybody got a master. But we don't have to make an idol of this master. He's just a finger, you know. And then we have to look to the direction where he shows. That's all.
Your master is Punjaji.
Punjaji, yes.
Is
This one. Punjaji, and I have to say, my own authentic search at some point took over too.
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, but this is very personal, and this may not happen to anyone, but since you ask a personal question, at some point my own master became an obstacle to me because of my many relations with him. Somehow I was a bit stuck to the finger. I was looking to the direction and to the finger, and this finger had absolutely to be removed. So that's why I say at some point I was matured enough to listen to the authenticity of my search. But of course, he is not apart from this. This is really the master. What we call master is not a form nor a name, of course.
That must have been very extraordinary for you, because there is a flyer here, and I see that you are called the second wife of your master, and I see the strong search in you.
Yes.
And at the same time, you lived with him.
This was a surprise to me too, you know. I didn't expect this because it was not part of my search. Somehow it happened.
Yeah.
Somehow it happened.
Yeah.
And I had to pass through this. But my relation, I can say, the substratum of my search was really master-disciple. And all the rest came, and I had to pass through this, I suppose. And that makes also a beautiful love story, and also a difficult one. I will never suggest to anyone to be the wife of his master, though it is extraordinary. It makes more difficult.
How can you stay in your being and be at the same time in this pattern, as you call it, to be...
It's a miracle, I
It's a
came out
miracle,
of
yeah.
it. I tell you. It's a miracle. That's what I say, the authenticity of a search will save you, whatever circumstances you are put in. That I am sure.
What do you call the authenticity of your search? What is that?
Oh. To listen to the truth which tries to speak to you.
So it is not the same as, let me say, meditating the whole day or going for therapy.
I would say authenticity is really, as I said, it's to be disponible, to be open now and here, wherever you are, to the call of your own self, and to be able to follow that voice. It looks a bit mysterious to speak like this, but to me it speaks.
Yeah, for some people it works like when they follow that call, or they go in that call, and then they say meditate every day 2 or 3 times.
The self will never suggest this, you know. This is suggested by teachers.
By teachers.
Yeah. The self will tell now. Now be your own self.
So actually no meditation.
No meditation is required. You know, if you are, life becomes meditation. You speak, you are silent. You love, you are silent. You eat, you do whatever you want, you are silent. This is meditation. This never starts and never ends. Otherwise, other meditation, you steal some time and then you meditate. And who meditates? An individual.
Yes.
Ego, as they say. Then what is the difference? When the meditation finishes, nothing is transformed in life, or very less. This is superficial dress on being.
So good luck for all the meditators.
They have to listen that, they have to search who is meditating. Who is the meditator? They stress on meditation. I stress on the meditator.
So the meditation can be a block. Like you said in the beginning, and the fact that I was the wife of my master was a block.
Yes.
Meditation is a block.
Yes. Whatever role you play is a block. If you believe you are a good meditator or a bad meditator, is one dress more you put on yourself. Or to know who you are really, before any start, you have to undress. You have to be nude, totally nude. And this is your own nature. You have not to do anything for that. No effort is needed. For the world, it needs efforts. Otherwise, you are just paumé. I don't know what to say. You need to make effort to arrive somewhere. But here you have not to arrive anywhere. You are already. This is contre-courant.
Contre-courant. Oui. So, I'm a bit in a quest because I like to keep a little bit space still for meditation. I feel it in myself. Yes. So to console my poor me who did a lot of meditation. But it can be a block at a certain moment.
You know, meditating is very good in the sense that it gives you other taste that you have in ordinary life. It's another kind of distraction, which is good. I mean, it gives you some peace of mind, some taste, something. But at some point, you have to drop this. That's all.
That brings me actually to another point that is very personal, but for a lot of people in Amsterdam, very common. I know from the 60s, when I was using LSD, it helped me a lot to open up.
Yes.
And what is your idea about drugs and realizing yourself? Is it the same like a block in you, that at a certain moment doesn't help anything to open up for yourself, or is just your suggestion not to do it at all? Because a lot of people are...
I don't suggest anything, we can try many things, why not? And in fact, drugs may have helped to open to some other reality, Myself, I tasted once. But you have to understand that what you realize through drugs, for example, through any mean, so through meditation too, you will lose it. Why? Because there is a mean. It starts with something else. So it depends on the mean. When you don't have the mean anymore, then what happens? You lose it.
You lose it,
So if you like this, continue. But if you search your own self, which doesn't depend on any circumstance and on any mean, this is not the way.
Is that why people who start with therapy need more therapy, or people start with meditation
you get
for the whole day? And people who use drugs, they go on because
they
at
go
the
on
end
to get it more and more and more, and to repeat what they got as an experience, which looks enlightening. But you see, they will lose it all the time. All the time they will lose it.
So what you suggest is actually very simple, and finishing all those things, like what I see here is simply inquire, who am I?
This is a good natural way to realize your own nature.
And you can just do it
anywhere. Get determined to realize it, that's all. Because it's no use to repeat this question all the time. Then it becomes like, a ritual or a mantra or whatever. It's not to be repeated. It is just an arrow, an arrow, and then you get to the point. That's all.
And you
It's a very good mean that Ramana Maharishi gave us.
yeah,
It's
follow
a
the
wonderful-
sense of I.
Follow the sense of I. Yeah, you can say that.
Mhm.
Follow it. Never land anywhere.
Never to land anywhere. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
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 Once you land somewhere, again you are in trap. Don't land anywhere. That's all.
Oh, that's a beautiful feeling, like an
Yes.
arrow going,
Yes.
going. So it is a never-ending story.
Yes.
If it is a story.
Yes.
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 How can you tell then it's happening in this moment?
Everything is happening now. You know, if you think otherwise, it's because you link with the past.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
So that arrow,
That arrow.
to whom we are,
Mm-hmm.
to whom I am, is a kind of occasion to be without being linked with past or future. And it is where I am.
So it is an arrow that is moving without movement.
Yes, we have to
Wow.
speak in paradox.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
otherwise you
Yeah,
land
that's
somewhere.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful.
You know,
Yeah.
even if you speak of eternity, you land in eternity. So it's
Mhm,
not
mhm.
that.
Mhm.
You have to speak paradoxally.
Uh-huh. Is this why you say don't make effort?
Don't make effort. Sure.
Just stay in the moment and move with the arrow.
And move and don't move.
And don't move, yeah. It's the paradoxical one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Something is there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult. If there was a recipe,
Mm-hmm.
I think every good man would give it, you know.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
because we don't have a recipe, we cannot be exactly clear for the
Mhm,
mind.
mhm,
So we have to
mhm.
speak in paradox.
Mhm. Yeah. I guess that's why so many people come now to hear it and they get a glimpse of it. And then,
Yes.
because it is not understandable. This.
Yes. It is not understandable by the mind, and to be is not to be understood. If someone says he understands it, it's false. It's something else he understands. To be is to realize what you are. It's another faculty. Realization is another faculty. It's
Mhm.
not understanding. It's not
What is it
feeling, and it is not intuition rather.
And not by the senses.
No,
And not by action.
no,
So what is it then?
no mean. No mean. Try to get it that way.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
You can
No,
now.
no, that's all.
Then you I cannot ask questions anymore, and you are not a teacher anymore. And then
It's good. It's perfect. In fact, there is no teacher, no disciple, no students, no transmission, and no teaching.
block, fear, doubt. That comes up at the moment.
They have to be removed. You have doubt because you are linked with the past, because it troubles your concepts, your ideas about enlightenment.
And the fear is now the fallen
You have,
abyss.
you have just to drop this fear. This fear is just an old habit of your mind, not to, because your mind will not be a master anymore, it will be a servant of your own self. You are used to be mastered by your own mind, so you listen to all these doubts and suggestions and fears.
They
So
served me up to now.
Yes. So now try to make it a servant. Don't listen to your mind now. No. That's all.
The more I say it, the more stronger he becomes.
It doesn't matter. Let him be strong. You don't listen to this strong mind then.
It's like bungee jumping.
I don't know what it is.
You know, it's this 60 meters above the ground,
Ah!
and then
It
you
is
stand there.
again suggestion of your mind. Again. Where you will drop? Nowhere. Again. You see? It was very quick.
Yeah.
Where to jump? Who told you? Like this, you know. Like this is this satsang. It's not a teaching, it's a way to trap the mind. That's all. So that the seeker at least may get a glimpse. And then once he gets a glimpse in his life, he has not much to worry. He will feel it goes, but somehow it's a false impression, and this glimpse will burn out slowly or not slowly, depends, you know, by coming back to satsang, by whatever is fire. Then it will make clear to him slowly what is his own nature.
Yeah, I got a glimpse, and that's why that fear came suddenly from.
Yeah.
Not this.
Yeah. Hold a bit. Fear is hold a bit. Let it be there. Then who are you? Fear is not you. Whatever you experience, whatever you see, whatever you feel is not you. Otherwise you cannot experience and you cannot see it. When you see something, it becomes an object. There is a distance between object and yourself. I speak of yourself, I don't speak of the object. A fear becomes an object. You know, I have the fear.
Right, but I am the fear when it comes up suddenly.
You have a fear.
I am.
You have. Take this habit. Take this habit. If you know you have a fear, it means you have an experience of fear. It means you are not the fear. The fear is here, and someone is there to know the fear. Who is this someone who has the experience of the fear? That's all. It's another direction. You know?
It's like what you told in the beginning, I am the husband, the wife of Punyaji, but that's a pattern in the being.
Yes,
and the fear
yes,
is a
sure.
pattern.
Yes,
Ah,
it
yeah.
can take
Ah, yeah.
any shape. Pattern can take all shapes,
Ah, yeah.
you know.
So you
Creation.
take distance.
You take distance because it's not you, it's natural. Only we are confused. Whatever we experience, we say, I am the experience. No, you have the experience of. It's just a confusion because education is made like this.
But does that not take me out of life then?
I feel very much in life.
Yeah, I see.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I see.
In the contrary,
That surprises me.
In the contrary, I think you taste better life, you know. No, I don't believe in this. And where life can go, I mean, it is included.
Yeah, it's true.
You know.
Yeah.
No.
Is it free?
Don't create the fear to be out of life.
No, but that's...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
can imagine.
But those concepts have to be broken, you know. They are just concepts.
So you have actually nothing to drop. Only the identification.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
The false identification.
False identification.
Always. Identification is always false. Huh? So,
It's always false?
yes. I don't see any identification which is true.
So if sudden pain in my
Yeah,
legs.
of course. Your body gets. You have a body which gets this experience. Like this. It's not an identification. It's a fact of your body, of your mind, or whatever, or levels of yours. But you are not that.
Kidney stones. Then I'm totally pain.
Yeah,
Crawling in the bed.
Yes, we can crawl it in the bed.
Yeah.
But then you are not this man crawling in the bed.
No.
It is a role, it is a body which is like this. But who has this pain? Who has this experience?
Now it is a memory. But when I'm in it, then
But then ask yourself, who gets this experience? Of course you can be fully, totally suffering.
Is that possible to be in that pain and then still aware of it?
Well, I have to get this experience, then I may tell you. I can speak only about now. So I cannot say more. You know, somebody also asked me a question about death. I cannot answer that, you know. It will be a philosophy
Yeah.
then, and I am not a philosopher. I just think of now.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I had philosophers, but slowly I come
of
in the
course,
experience
you
now.
may,
That's why the fear comes up.
Yes.
And doubt.
We may think logically it may be like this, but I refuse to answer the questions which is not here now.
So back to the now. I feel freedom, a kind of relief. That is perhaps the experience this moment. Like, whew, what a relief,
Yes, so even here you ask who gets this release. You know, who? So that you don't land on this freedom now. So you just keep who gets this experience of freedom. This is the beauty, and then you have a beautiful life, you know. Life flows through you and is very rich, very surprising. That's all.
I lost my questions. Thank you.
That is satsang, you know. If you want